Okay, this is the first part of the In the Weeds mission I have been hosting on the tactical section. It covers the use of mark points to pre-allocate targets from a safe distance. What I'm doing here is getting the aircraft prepared. I'm selecting the MAV, turning those on the right MDF, and on the left MDF I'm selecting stat and going into the second screen where you can change the slew value. I normally set that to 7 and that gives me much better control over the slew when selecting targets. So on this mission, to the south of a long ridge there's an area with a number of targets, but to the north of the ridge there are 3 heavily defended long-range SAM sites, and the way I approach this mission is to neutralise those SAM sites by taking out their long-range radars, and then following that, the stage after that would be destroying their short-range infrared SAM launchers, which basically act as protection to the site. That means then that allows you to actually get some height for taking out the targets to the south of the ridge. So on this mission, what we'll do is climb to height from a safe distance away. We can then see over the ridge from a distance and target the SAM sites, and in particular their long-range radar. What we'll then do is allocate those points as mark points. And once we've done that, we can then use those mark points as steer points to slave mavericks while still under the cover of the ridge. So the TGP has now come online. We've set it to air to ground. We're at just over 4,000 feet and the early warning radar is picking us up already. Okay, and now the TGP has been slaved to the waypoint, which is set as SAM1. We've skipped a little way forward in the recording, and you can now see we're looking over the top of the ridge and searching for the targets. Now I've switched to infrared white hot, which gives a better visibility to the targets in the distance. And what we're looking for is the acquisition radar, which is in the centre of the group, which I'm just zooming in on now. It can be identified by a large antenna, square antenna, which raises off the top of it. So what I'm doing now is acquiring the target in the normal way with TMS up switch, but what I'm then also doing is TMS right, which makes it as a mark point. What I'm now doing is going to the TAD page, and what I shall do is, you can see it's targeted on waypoint 2 there, and I'll now change the steer point from flight plan to mark, and you'll see there it goes to an A, which is the mark point that we just signified on that target. You change from flight plan to mark point on the steer point selector, which is down there. Right, okay, so we now go back to steer points, and we can then select SAM site 2. You can see that coming up on the HUD now. There's no need to actually go back to the mark point, it was just to demonstrate how they were shown on the TAD and on the HUD. So I now go through the same process again, selecting waypoint 3 this time, which is SAM2, slaving the waypoint to the TGP, and then using the TGP to search around the area to pick up the required target. Okay, you'll find now that things have got a bit exciting, because you'll have found the various SAM sites will have launched on you. As long as you don't get too close, you're okay. You might need to do a little bit of evasion and check some chaff out, but the secret is to make sure you're fairly long way away. It was about 18 miles from the first SAM site, and we're now about 24 miles from the second. But you can see we've got good visibility at this distance on that second SAM site. So what I'm doing now, apart from keeping an eye on the SAMs that have been launched at me, I'll be picking up the radar, which again you can see it's that one there, so we'll do that, allocate it with the TMS up, and then once I've done that I'm allocating it as a mark point with TMS right. So done that. What we'll then do is I've just selected SAM site 3, which is waypoint 4, slave the TGP to that, zoomed out, and again you can see it's much further away now. We're talking about 31 miles away, but again we're still quite easily being able to target this, get the point there, designating it as a mark point again. Throwing out a little bit of chaff there, obviously it's getting a bit hot. So now going to the tab page, and I shall switch to, you can see the waypoints there. What I'll then do is switch to the mark point selection for the steer point, and you'll see then, there you go, you've got A, B and C, which are the three targets which refer to the actual radar target that you need to hit to neutralise the SAM site. So with those things down, the next thing is to get down on the ground and then go in low under the cover of the ridge to within Maverick range. And what I've done is just jump forward again, and what we're now doing is approaching the target site. There's behind that ridge. Okay, so we're getting down quite low now, and you can see the mark point on the HUD is defining a point that's actually the other side of the ridge, so we've got cover from the SAM site. I'm not sure whether we've got cover from the other SAM sites, but they're a long way away and we can easily dip down to avoid any incoming SAMs. So you'll see there with the mark point set as the steer point, I can slave both the TGP and the Maverick to that. TGP is slaved with China Hat back long, and the Maverick is slaved with China Hat forward long. So we're now coming across, so we're going to clear
altitude.
We'll be over the hill, but suddenly fine, we're exposed to the SAMs, but we can come over, launch, break away very quickly and regain cover. So this is looking from back at the SAM's point of view. You'll see me break cover in a minute, and you can just see me there coming over the ridge. Launch the Maverick and I'm turning straight away back off to the other side. You can see
altitude.
the missile has been launched, but I get back into cover before that gets close to me. This is the Maverick coming in. You'll see now that having just been exposed over the ridge for a very short time, I could target the correct element of the SAM site and take that out. Okay, you can see now the way the mission works, the bogies have been scrambled. That's the trigger I've set, so once you hit any of the three targets, the bogies scramble, but you get quite a bit of time to continue the mission before they arrive. So I'm now keeping very low below the ridge. You'll notice between the first and the second SAM sites there's a low point in the ridge where they can target you through. It's just behind us now, so you need to keep very low to get across that section. Okay, so we've now selected the next mark point, which is mark point B. You can see that on the HUD. I've just slaved the TGP to it and also slaved the Maverick. Obviously when you release the Maverick, what you have to do is select the Maverick MDF as soy, and then do TMS up, which tracks the Maverick onto the target. So you can see here, keeping nice and low over the treetops, and you can see again on the HUD that the marker for the targeting pod and the Maverick are both over the top of the track point. So again, just keeping under cover right until the last minute. You can see I'm now well within Maverick range, so once I break cover I'll be able to launch straight away. Okay, and on the Maverick screen I can see I've picked up the right target and I've launched and then break away pretty quick.
Pull up, pull up.
I think you'll see here again the SAM was launching. I think you can see it impact on the side of the mountain as I get in cover behind them.
Altitude, altitude.
And again, this is the Maverick coming in. It's picked up the right target and taken out the acquisition radar. Okay, coming round now to pick up the final target. Same routine again. Select the mark point as a waypoint, or as a steer point. Slave the TGP and then slave the Maverick to that point. Okay, the same routine on the third SAM.
Pull up,
Keeping
pull up.
cover of the ridge until the
Pull up, pull up.
you're in range of the Maverick, which you can see we're well inside. But this is a little bit of a demonstration of what can go wrong if you hesitate on that. As I went over, I thought I'd picked the wrong target. I didn't actually, and tried to slew my Maverick onto the right one. I spent a little bit too much time exposed and paid the price for that. The lesson is you need to go over, you have a few seconds to allocate the target and fire, and then get out again. If you feel that you haven't acquired the target properly or haven't acquired the right one, just in the same amount of time, just get out and come round again. You haven't got time to mess about and redo it. Okay, so a quick debriefing on TAC view. You can see that's where the we started from the airfield. These are the three SAM units. There's various other units around here, as you can see. This is obviously the ridge along here, and this is the valley we fly along. You can see with the big coverage areas that we've got here for the main radar, so they're basically covering the whole area. But the smaller SAMs have obviously got a much smaller range in here. So basically we took off, here we go, climbed to height, and you can see this is the point where the, if I just zoom in a bit, this is where the SAMs were launching on us. We've got one there, but again I think you'll find that's run out of juice by the time it gets to us. Just out of the way, a little bit of chaff needed to defeat those, but again here now you can see the main site is launching at us, so a lot of stuff coming at us, but you're just about staying out of the range there, although we're well in the range of the main radar. So we've picked up our mark points and we're off here now, and we're just going in to take our first hit. Again, you can see we're being launched on there, but we defeat, we get out of the way of that, and then we take out the first one. So again, if I just pull out, I've got those 3 big ones, so if I then just move on slightly, you'll see we've taken out that first big radar dome there. We then come in to the second one, take that out, another dome's gone, and then we're coming into the third. So if we just zoom back in again, okay, so now if we see what's happened here, I get in there, I could see from the recording afterwards that I'd targeted the right target, but you can see left myself exposed too long, and I'm now getting launched on from here behind, which is one of these short range. But you need to get rid of the big domes to be able to get in and destroy those, and once the big radars are hit, you can actually get in those and fire Mavericks from outside of their range. But until you got rid of the radars, you can't do that. So I just hung around for a little 2-bit. I think I managed to miss that one. Another one comes in from there, and that got missed with a couple. So thanks for watching. I hope you found it interesting, and hope you'll enjoy having a go at it yourself. Send me any messages if you've got any questions, and thank you very much. Bye.